In the spring of 1862, during the American Civil War, Confederate General Joseph Johnston sat on his horse just 2 miles away from the front lines at the Battle of Seven Pines. He was waiting. His entire strategy rested on a simple cue, the sound of his own cannons. He had ordered his reinforcements to move the moment they heard the opening roar of the artillery. Johnston watched the horizon, seeing the distinct white puffs of smoke rising from the trees. He saw his men advancing. He saw the flashes of muzzle fire, but as he strained his ears, he heard nothing.
The battlefield was a silent pantomime. While Johnston sat in a pocket of eerie, absolute stillness, residents in Richmond, 10 miles in the opposite direction, were terrified by the bone-shaking thunder of those same cannons. Because Johnston couldn't hear his own war, he didn't send the reinforcements. The delay cost him the battle, and a subsequent wound changed the course of the command to Robert E. Lee. This isn't a ghost story or a failure of human hearing. It is a physical phenomenon known as an acoustic shadow. It is a place where sound, by all laws of common sense, should exist, but it has simply been erased.
To understand why sound vanishes, we first have to stop thinking of sound as a thing that travels in a straight line, like a bullet. Sound is a wave of pressure, and like any wave, it is incredibly sensitive to the medium it travels through. Under normal conditions, the air near the ground is warmer than the air higher up. Because sound travels faster in warm air, the bottom of a sound wave moves quicker than the top. This causes the wave to naturally tilt upward, refracting away from the Earth and into space. Usually, this effect is so slight that we don't notice it. But under specific conditions, the atmosphere becomes a lens. In the case of Seven Pines, a phenomenon called a temperature inversion was likely at play. This happens when a layer of warm air sits on top of a layer of cool air, the reverse of the norm. As the sound waves from the cannons hit this warm ceiling, they are refracted downward, bouncing back toward the Earth miles away. This creates rings of audibility. Imagine throwing a stone into a pond, but instead of the ripples moving outward smoothly, they jump over a section of the water and reappear further out. If you are standing in that jump zone, you are in the acoustic shadow. You are standing in the speed of silence.
We might think that modern technology has made acoustic shadows a relic of the past, but they are more relevant now than ever. In the world of submarine warfare, the ocean is a massive, liquid acoustic shadow. Water temperature and salinity change with depth, creating thermoclines. These layers act exactly like the temperature inversions of the Civil War. A submarine can hide in a shadow zone where sonar pings literally curve around the vessel, leaving it invisible to the surface ships directly above it. Even in our cities, we encounter these shadows. Have you ever noticed how you can hear a distant highway clearly on a cold, still night, but can barely hear it during a windy day? You are experiencing the same refraction that confused General Johnston 160 years ago.
The story of the acoustic shadow is a reminder of the fragility of human perception. We rely on our senses to tell us the truth of our environment, but those senses are at the mercy of the medium. For the soldiers at Perryville or Gettysburg, the acoustic shadow wasn't just a curiosity of physics, it was a wall of silence that altered history. It reminds us that sometimes the most dangerous thing in a conflict isn't the noise of the enemy, it's the silence that tells you everything is fine when it's not. In a world where we think we see and hear everything through our digital extensions, it proves that you can be standing in the middle of a world-changing event, and because the wind shifted just a few degrees, you might never even know it happened.